Hello, welcome to Math Defined. I'm Mrs. C, and today we're going to talk about multiplying fractions to mixed numbers. So we're going to start by looking at this expression using a mixed number of 2 1/5 times the fraction of 5/6. And we're going to complete this expression or this multiplication problem by following 4 easy steps. So the first step is that we need to change mixed numbers into improper fractions. Now 2 1/5 is a mixed number because a mixed number is where you would have a whole number, and in this case my whole number is 2, with a fractional part or a fraction of 1/5. So I need to take this mixed number of 2 1/5 and I need to turn it into a fraction. And since it's a mixed number, when I turn it into a fraction, it will be turned into what is called an improper fraction, where the numerator is greater than the denominator. So I know that sounds kind of complicated, but it's pretty easy to do. So remember, the first step is to change. So think of a C. So I have this little pink arrow that's kind of in the form of the letter C. So we start with the denominator of 5, and we multiply that to the whole number. So we would take 5 times 2 is 10. And then we're going to add 1 to that 10. So we're going to do 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11. So my numerator for this mixed number will be 11, and my denominator will remain the same at 5. So 2 1/5 being changed into an improper fraction would be 11/5. And you notice that the numerator is greater than the denominator, so that's why it's called an improper fraction. So my second value of 5/6 is already just a fraction, so I'm just going to leave that alone and I'm just going to bring that over. So now I have 11/5 times 5/6. Moving on to step 2. Step 2 is cross cancel if possible. And I did another video on multiplying fractions using cross cancellation, so you might want to click up at the top of your screen there, and that'll give you a link directly to that video, and I show you all about how to cross cancel. But cross canceling, just a quick review, is basically simplifying before you multiply, and we're looking at numerators and denominators and checking to see if they share a common factor. And if they do, then we're going to divide by that factor, making the numbers that we're working with just a little bit smaller. So when I'm looking at my 11/5 times 5/6, I can see that a numerator of 5 and a diagonal denominator of 5 share a common factor of 5. So I'm going to divide the numerator and the denominator by 5. So 5 divided by 5 is going to give me 1. And 5 divided by 5 is going to give me 1. So basically what I've done is I have canceled out both the numerator and the denominator of 5 into smaller numbers, which makes multiplying a little bit easier in the end. Now when I take a look at 11 and 6, I can see that they don't share any common factors, so I will not be able to cross cancel there at all. So that allows me to go to step 3. Step 3 is where I'm going to multiply the numerators and the denominators. And I have to be careful because I was able to cancel out those two 5s, that when I'm multiplying my numerators and my denominators, I'm not multiplying 11 times 5 in my numerator, I'm multiplying 11 times 1. And in my denominator, I'm not multiplying 5 times 6, I'm multiplying 1 times 6. So now I'm just going to multiply straight across. 11 times 1 is 11. And 1 times 6 is 6. So now I have the improper fraction of 11/6, which leads us to step 4. Step 4 is simplify if necessary. And when you have an improper fraction, again, an improper fraction is where the numerator is greater than the denominator, then you will always need to simplify. So when I look at 11/6, basically what I'm looking at to simplify is I need to do a little mental math. And I'm going to take 11 divided by 6. So I know that 6 goes into 11 one time with 5 left over. So that leftover 5 becomes my numerator, and my denominator does not change. So my final answer to 2 1/5 times 5/6 is 1 5/6. Okay, let's do just a little bit more practice. So now we have 1/2 times 2 3/4. And so you have to remember that if you are multiplying and you have mixed numbers, you have to change any of those mixed numbers into improper fractions before you multiply. So my first fraction I'm looking at is 1/2. So I'm going to leave the 1/2 alone and just bring it over. So I will write equals 1/2. Now I'm looking at my mixed number of 2 3/4. So again, I know I'm going to change it. So I'm going to kind of put my little C there to remind me the direction of how I change that mixed number into an improper fraction. So I'm going to multiply 4 times 2 is going to give me 8. Then I'm going to add 3, so 8 plus 3 is 11, and my denominator is not going to change. So now I have 1/2 times 11/4. The next thing I need to look for is any cross cancellation to make my multiplying easier. So if I look at my numerator and denominator of 1 and 4, I can see that they don't share any common factors. Now I'm going to look at 11 and 2, and I see that they don't share any common factors. So now I'm just ready to multiply my numerators and my denominators straight across. So 1 times 11 is going to give me 11, and 2 times 4 is going to give me 8. So now I look and I see that I have an improper fraction. My numerator is greater than my denominator. So that means that I will need to simplify. And again, like I said before on our first problem, we need to do a little bit of division in order to simplify this fraction. So we're going to take 11 divided by 8, and 8 goes into 11 one time with 3 left over. That leftover 3 becomes my numerator, and my denominator does not change. So my answer will be 1 3/8. All right, now let's try 4 2/3 times 3/4. So again, 4 2/3 is a mixed number, so that means that I need to change that mixed number into an improper fraction before I multiply. So 3 times 4 gives me 12. 12 plus 2 gives me 14, so my numerator is going to be 14, and my denominator of 3 is not going to change. Then I'm going to bring over the times 3/4 because 3/4 is already in fraction form, so I need to just leave that alone. Now I'm ready to look for cross canceling. And if I look at 14 and 4, I can see that they do share a common factor of 2. So I'm going to divide each of those numbers by 2. So 14 divided by 2 is going to give me 7. 4 divided by 2 will give me 2. Then I'm going to look at my diagonal 3's, meaning my numerator of 3 and my denominator of 3, and I see that they also share a common factor of 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, and again 3 divided by 3 is 1. Now I'm ready to multiply my numerators and my denominators straight across. And again, don't forget, you're going to be using the numerators and the denominators that you found after you divided out that common factor or cross-canceled. So now I'm going to multiply 7 times 1, which is going to give me 7, and 1 times 2 is 2. And then I'm going to do that division problem again, but this time I'm going to do it in my head. I'm going to do a little bit of mental math. So I know that 2 goes into 7 3 times with 1 left over. That leftover 1 becomes my numerator, and the denominator of 2 does not change. All right? Now this last problem we're going to look at has a pair of mixed numbers, which means that we're going to need to change both of those mixed numbers into improper fractions before we multiply. So let's go ahead and change 1 7/8 by doing 8 times 1 is 8, plus 7 is 15. So that first mixed number turns into an improper fraction of 15 over 8. My second mixed number, I'm going to do 5 times 2 is 10. 10 plus 2 is 12, and again my denominator does not change, so I'm going to have 12 over 5. Now I'm ready to look for cross cancellation, and I can see that 5 and 15 share a common factor of 5. So 15 divided by 5 is 3, and 5 divided by 5 is 1. Then I'm going to look at 12 and 8, and I can see that they share a common factor of 2. But if I look just a little closer, I can see that they share an even larger common factor of 4. and it's always better to use the larger ones. So I'm going to divide each of them by 4. So 12 divided by 4 is 3, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. And now I'm ready to multiply my numerators straight across. So 3 times 3 is 9, and then my denominators, 2 times 1 is 2. And then again, I'm going to do that mental math that 2 goes into 9 4 times with 1 left over. So the 1 is my numerator, and the denominator of 2 does not change. So my answer will be 4 1/2. And that is all there is to it. You just need to remember that when you have a mixed number and you're multiplying it to a fraction, you have to change mixed numbers into fractions before you multiply. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please let me know by clicking that like button and leaving me a comment. And please become a subscriber today. Click that notification bell so that you'll know when my videos come out. And until I see you next time, thank you so much for watching.